Hello everyone, if you're new here, I'm Alan with 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗚 and this channel is all about sharing the joy of candle making. Now today's video we're going to be unboxing, giving you my out of the bottle first impressions of the Raised Garden collection by Black Tie Barn. I'm very excited for this collection and I don't even think I have to explain why. If you've been here for any amount of time, you will know that anything that's earthy and anything that has that kind of like you're sticking your head in the dirt type of a vibe, I am very much into. But anyways, let's get right into today's video and I hope that you enjoy. Oh my god. I'm so excited to smell this one. So as always with these videos, we're going to unbox this right on camera. I have not looked at anything. I don't even know for sure if this is the Raised Garden bed collection because I have two boxes and I just guessed. This was the heavier of the two, so that's what I'm guessing it is. But yeah, so I'm gonna unbox it on camera and show you guys what the box looks like. So if the scents are all over the place, you guys will know. Kind of fitting that I have no box opener for this unboxing. Only garden shears. Slip. Ooh, this is cute. So we've got a nice little box within a box situation here, and you can see this almost looks like a seed paper box or something. I don't know if that was intentional. Let's open this guy up here next. All right, so I have not looked at any of the names of these oils. Oh my God. Okay, so we're starting off with the Planter's box. As always, I don't consult anything because I just want my videos to be my out of the bottle first impressions. We've got the hot pepper patch. I really like the chili pepper fragrance. It's, I'll put the name up on the screen. I bought a couple bottles. Oh my God, I did see the name of this one though. The garlic onion, because when I posted a little thing on my page talking about when I was going to review these oils, I had panned over the names and I do remember that one. We have the Minted Basil. We have the Flowerbed. Curious what his florals are like. Ooh, I'm really excited for the cucumber mint. So I have not, to this date, encountered a good cucumber mint fragrance. And they often come through really like perfumey to me, and I want something that's like cucumber but also that is minty. I don't know, they go really well together, so hopefully that is a good one. We have the Sunlit Sage. Like the name, got some nice alliteration there. The Lush Acre. Probably gonna be maybe like a grass type of a fragrance if I had to guess. We have the bell pepper, so there's actually two peppers I guess in this collection. There's the hot pepper and the bell pepper. Oh, I'm really excited for the fresh fig. Some of you guys have been saying good things about this fragrance, like raving about it, so I cannot wait. We have the beetroot. I feel like that would be just a really weird fragrance. The tomato vine. I actually use a tomato fragrance by Candle Science that it's quite popular, so there is definitely a market for tomato vine fragrances, and I wasn't aware of it. We got the topsoil. It'll be interesting to compare this to the graveyard, which to me smells like potting soil. We have the Sun-Ripened Strawberry, the fresh cut grass, the Rosemary Thyme. Ooh, I'm excited for the Lavender Bloom. I don't think I've smelled a straight lavender from Black Tie Barn. I've smelled some other lavender blends. Oh, and then we have the Root Stalk. Is this gonna be like a corn fragrance or something? These are my first impressions. I always say this, but if you are new, you always wanna do your own and test them in a final product before you have any final impressions. Fragrance is also very subjective, so something that I really like, you might not like, and something that you really like, I might put on my fails list. I think that's all the disclaimers I have. This is kind of a weird filming situation because I had not put my table back to where it normally is because I'm trying to access my plants and everything. Still slightly limited mobility. Anyways, God, I also feel like a priest wearing this collar. It's a Joy Division shirt. All right, well, we're just gonna, that doesn't really, whatever. All right, Let's take a look at let's start off with the Minted Basil. Yeah. Okay, so this fragrance, I'm gonna try to get to all 20 in this video too. I never do that. We'll see how it goes. I don't know, that may be a lot for you guys in one video. I'm not gonna make this like an hour and a half long. But I will put timestamps, so oh my God, I can smell something from a foot away. You guys, I can literally smell this fragrance, and it even has like a little stopper thing. So this is new. He has not done this before that I'm aware of. I can smell it, like I don't even have to get any closer. I'm gonna take it off though. Or I'm gonna, ooh, interesting. It like literally pops itself off super easy. Not like the 𝗦𝗵𝐺 fragrances where you have to dig your hand into it. Also, I do wanna put out, if you do get these bottles, make sure you put tape over them. I think he's gonna get some new labels pretty soon, but these labels will smear a little bit. I know I've said that in multiple videos. I can smell this a foot away, you all. What the heck? Like with the stopper on. Here goes the Minted Basil. Let's see what it's gonna do. Oh my God, you guys. Okay, I'm getting actually quite a bit of peppermint in this oil. If you've ever smelled the Young Living Peppermint Essential Oil, like the edible version, don't eat this by the way, but Young Living, the essential oil brand, makes a peppermint. This smells like the peppermint from that, but combined with not very much basil out of the bottle. I'm getting more of the mint, but as this dries down, the mint being more of a top note, the basil is probably gonna start coming through more. But I'm glad that I'm not getting too much. I'm very familiar with basil essential oil, and it can very easily take over. Yeah, this smells pepperminty more than spearmint to me personally. It's very relaxing, I would say. If you have like a spa line or an aromatherapy type of a line, this smells like there's a lot of essential oil in here, and it just smells really true. It does not smell artificial to me. Oh, I feel like my blood pressure goes down just by smelling this. I don't know, should we do the fresh cut grass? You guys can't really see what I'm doing. Let me try to turn the camera a little. This is real awkward. Now I'm like jumping the phone. All right, well, we're just gonna have to deal with the awkwardness because I have to be able to get to my plants and I can't move the whole table around right now and back. So anyways, I'm putting all the notes up on the screen for you. I haven't consulted any of them prior to the filming of this video. Just like always, I just like to smell the fragrances out of the bottle and give you what I smell and what I'm getting. Also, I have noticed with these oils, so I've smelled everything that Black Tie Barn has released with the exception of these oils in this collection and the Fizzy Bubbly collection. And I can tell you, because I've put dozens of them into wax, I have made more than 100 test candles with Black Tie Barn oils at this point. And if you want more footage showing like my testing process and kind of what I'm looking for, I'll put my one video that I have up above, but I can definitely film more of those for you guys. So just let me know. But I have noticed with these that they smell out of the bottle very true to the character in wax, and that's something that's really nice. Sometimes they do develop a little bit more, but I haven't noticed the out of the bottle character to be that much different from the character in wax. So it's really nice if you buy a bunch of samples, I would say, do have a really good idea with this company of what the oils are gonna smell like. Let's take a look at the Sun-Ripened Strawberry. This is a very bold move for any fragrance supplier. Strawberry is an exceptionally difficult note to get right. It often comes through as very candy-like, and for me personally, with this collection, I'm expecting, for once in my life, a true strawberry. I've never encountered that in a fragrance oil. They smell more like strawberry jam to me, more like a sweet strawberry. For whatever reason, that note is exceptionally difficult for fragrance companies to do well. So, don't let me down, Black Tie Barn. I'm holding you to a very high standard here. Let's take a look at the Sun-Ripened Strawberry. Oh, this is sweeter, but it's sweeter in a true strawberry way. This smells like, I was gonna say a strawberry out in the sun. That's exactly what the name of it is. I'm trying to think of what I don't like about it. You guys, this is a true to life fresh strawberry. Am I hallucinating or I've never smelled that in a fragrance oil. The closest I have come is Candle Science's Strawberry Blending Element, which is excellent because I've smelled probably 6 different strawberry oils and the Candle Science comes the closest. But still, I just whacked myself with this. I'm gonna be smelling it for the next hour. This smells much more so like a strawberry, whereas the Blending Element still, to me, has a little bit of that candy-like component to it. This smells sweet, yes, but in a sun-ripened, true to a strawberry type of a sweet. Maybe there's a hint of sugar on it, but from all the strawberry fragrances I have smelled, this one is the most true to an authentic strawberry. Next, let's take a look at the bell pepper. I don't know why he's making a pepper into a fragrance. Like, what in the world? In my opinion, this is not a very good move. I mean, I think it's really novelty. I haven't seen anyone making a bell pepper into a fragrance. Definitely like an orange chili pepper, but a bell pepper, really? Like, because he's obviously confident that this is gonna work. Like when suppliers release oils like this, they have to purchase a certain quantity of that oil from their manufacturer, their lab that they're working with. And I can already smell something like a foot away to me that is very much smelling like a green bell pepper. But yeah, they have to purchase like a certain set amount. And oftentimes that minimum is pretty high. So I'm curious what this is gonna do. Like, how do you make a bell pepper into a fragrance oil? Like, that's just the bell pepper. Let's see what it's gonna do. Okay. All right, you guys. What the is going on? This almost reminds me of the Bandit. If the Bandit could be a vegetable, this would be the Bandit. Like if the Bandit died and came back as a pepper. This has like a bell pepper quality to it, but it's done in a way that is, I would say, really upscale. Because you're getting like, I'm almost picking up like patchouli or moss or some different alcohol notes to this, or yeah, it's like there's moss and patchouli and earth to this as well. And you also get that true to life bell pepper with like the waxy surface and the skin of the pepper. And then when you cut into it and you smell almost like the seeds, like when the knife goes through the pepper, and you can smell all the juices combining with the skin of the pepper and a little bit of a stem. And to me personally, this is a very sophisticated take. You guys, I did not expect myself to be actually interested in this fragrance. But I genuinely think if you're looking for something really different, because a lot of people do like tomato vines and like that type of a fragrance and cucumber fragrances, like fresh picked cucumber. But I've never seen something like this. I think that it's a very unique spin that could potentially set your brand apart if you're trying to do something that's unique and down to earth, but also that has a new avant-garde twist. Next up, let's take a look at the Beetroot. This is another one that is just so out there for me. Like, who calls a fragrance that? I'm thinking that it's going to be something a little bit sweeter, maybe. Beets tend to be earthy, but in a like really savory way. And they are a little bit more animalistic too. So I'm curious how that's going to come into play and how it's going to be desirable in a fragrance. Here goes the Beetroot. Oh my God. This literally smells like a beet that's been in the ground, and you get part of the ground with the beet. This smells more like a beet than a beet. What? This is really weird. Like, this is weird. It smells like you extracted the literal juice from a beet. And I make my own beet juice, you all. I recently, this year, got a juicer. And I'm not only familiar cooking with beets, because my mom was always into baking with them, and my dad would always chop them up. Not the canned version, by the way. This does not capture that. This is a fresh, authentic beet that's recently come out of the ground too. Like this isn't even one that you would get at your Meijer's or your HEB or whatever your local grocery chain, Walmart is. This is a literal garden fresh beet. I have to say, if I had to guess, that the top note is like a lemon or some type of very bright citrus, a bergamot, like a bitter, not sweet. It's a sophisticated type of a citrus, like a bitter citrus rind or something. And then the base, again, has these earthier notes, almost like a little bit of soil in it. Probably some moss or a little bit of grass or vetiver, something kind of a little bit skankier, earthier, like a little bit more animalistic, but it's very invigorating. So I feel like if you were making a candle, yeah, for the summer for sure, like you could call this like the farmer's market, or you could call this, you could even just call it like the sunny acre, or like the vegetable, or just the garden, or this is a very, very sophisticated, I almost get like cilantro or something to this as well. Like as this dries down more, it's almost like a wearable scent, as weird as that sounds. Like, yeah, I'm gonna just go and put on some beet juice today. But this fragrance, as it dries down, is like absolutely that caliber. All right, guys, I just want to take the time to say once again, I'm not sponsored or affiliated, but this is a solid 4 out of 4. And you all know how hard I am on this channel on fragrances. I think a lot of companies, to be honest with you, don't send me their oils because they're afraid to hear what I have to say. Anyways, let's take a look. Oh, should we do the fresh fig? I'm going to save that for the end. I will put timestamps in for you because I know I'm trying to go fast, but I'm really excited. Like, I can't believe how authentic these are. Like, it's chilling and how strong they are. I don't think those other ones have had the little stoppers on them though. So that is something I'll point out. Not that it's a problem. I don't think they need them. I actually more than anything get annoyed by them, but that's just my 2 cents for what it's worth. I know some people do like them. This strawberry one, man. Man, that's a beautiful strawberry. All right, anyways, I'm also gonna be ranking these on my Patreon from my least favorite to my most favorite, as I always do. So go ahead and head over there, and if you're not a member, you can subscribe below, and you also get all my formulas, and you get one-on-one support from me with your candle making journey in a private, secure chat. So lots of benefits for a couple bucks a month. Let's see here. What else do we have? I don't know. How about the root and stalk? Let's do that one and compare it with the beetroot. I don't know what stalk, like, what does that mean in a fragrance? The root, like, okay, you're depicting like something woody, earthy, green. Let's see what the root and stalk is going to bring to the table. Oh. Okay, this is not what I expected at all. This is lighter than anything else I've smelled as well. I would say I'm getting almost like a type of, like a skin scent. This reminds me a bit of the Juliet Has a Gun, if you guys are familiar with that collection. The purpose of that collection was really, from my understanding, to make fragrances that smelled like you weren't wearing perfume. I think there was one called Not a Perfume or something. And that's the vibe I'm getting from this. So it's light, but I'm actually curious how this would throw. I'll probably put this into wax just for the hell of it. Just because some of the ones from this company that are light, I often find come through a lot in wax. I haven't rated anything below a 4 out of 5, which I know hot throw is very subjective, but for me, that's really unheard of, and that's one of the reasons I've been really obsessed with a lot of these fragrances, in addition to the complexity of the oils too, and them kind of mirroring more of a perfumer's palette than a fragrance oil supplier. Yeah, this is light. Like, as it dries down, though, I can barely smell it. But I am getting, it's kind of a light ozonic fresh vibe to this. Maybe there's even a hint of fig or a hint of, it's more 𝗷𝗡𝗄𝗡 almost. Like almost if you're familiar with the Baccarat 540. And by the way, the Black Tie Barn 540 is the best Baccarat 540. And I've tried a lot of Baccarat 540. I don't even like the oil myself. I bought a bottle or two of it just because my customers have been really crazy over it. I sell it as Reverie. I'll put the little vessel up on the screen. I'm not really proud of the top of that candle. The glitter didn't work out. I mean, it burned really well, but it doesn't look the most aesthetic. It was like some holographic biodegradable glitter. Anyways, reminds me of that a little bit, but also reminds me of the Juliet Has a Gun, if you know that fragrance. Yeah, probably least impressed with this one so far. Next, let's take a look at, should we do a floral? Let's do the Flowerbed. Now, a lot of the times I've reviewed florals very critically. I'm not a floral person myself. I know I try to make these videos as objective as possible, but it's impossible for me to be totally unbiased. I think that's true of like anyone, and I just tend to not really like florals. But I will say a lot of this company's florals work for my nose, and I can tolerate them, as in they don't give me a headache. I've actually been burning the honeysuckle, the wild honeysuckle, a lot, and the zesty lemon, which has got a lot of like floral lilac-y notes to it. It's kind of a dupe for 𝗏𝗟ici's Calabrian lilac and lemon leaves, just saying. And also the Rebel Rose and the Dark Dahlia. I mean, I gotta say, I like them. Maybe not the Rebel Rose that much, but I keep going back to it. Like, my customers sell it out. Also a dupe for 𝗏𝗟ici oil, the Dark Rose and Labdanum, actually. One of their now like $89 oils. I don't know why I'm whispering, but you know, just throwing that out there. All right, here goes the Flowerbed. Let's see what it's gonna do. Oh. Okay, so I'm definitely getting like a flower, kind of like you combine like an English garden floral bouquet. A lot of different types of flowers in this. It's really true to an authentic flower bed. I'm getting a little bit of like some cleaner, woodier notes though as this dries down that is making me intrigued. At first I was getting hit with all the florals and I was like, oh yeah, this is just another like floral bouquet fragrance. As this dries down, it's really coming through with like some cleaner sheer woods notes. Yeah, this is a high-end leaning take. I mean, some people would definitely wear this, I would say. It's kind of, I was gonna say like a white floral almost. Almost feels like it has a linen quality to it as well. Like a, not a sun-washed linen, but it's like a, almost like has hints of clean cotton and iris to it. Yeah, this, as it dries down more, is very complex, and it's part of what makes these florals work in general from this company, for me personally, is that a lot of them, oh my God, my contact. Okay, I'm back. A lot of the florals have like a cleaner quality to them. Like the heart of them also contains like cleaner, more cotton-like, linen-like, fresh, aquatic-like sometimes notes. And that just makes it work for me. But yet they're not overly powdery either. That's the other thing. I will give fragrances a very hard time if there's too much powder. I'm like powder police. Like I will come after you if your fragrance has too much powder. And so anyways, it's kind of the perfect balance of not too much powder, bringing in linen, and keeping the florals true to life, but not headache inducing. Let's take a look at, should we do the, let's go ahead and do the Lush Acre. I don't really know where he's going with this one either. I like the name of it, but this could mean a lot of different things. So this could be like a grass fragrance, or it could be like a ambery sunset type of a fragrance. Or this could be like a honeyed hayride, like hay bale type of an orchard fragrance. Or it could be like a fruity, like an orchard in a fruity fruit tree type of a vibe way. So I'm curious. Anyways, I can smell something from like a foot away. Here goes the Lush Acre. Oh, not what I expected, I want to say. This is very strong, and it's coming through kind of synthetic, like out of the bottle, but it's like one of those where if you smell like, for example, Candle Science's banana bread or something out of the bottle, it just hits you in the face. Or like their spiced honey, or not spiced honey and tonka. I'll put the name up on the screen. Brandied pear, the original. This reminds me a little bit of that with how it's coming through. And I feel like this needs to dry down and just sit because, yeah, so this is a sweeter fragrance, but in like an orchard type of a way. I'm definitely getting a fruity, overarching character to this. Almost feels like it does have some cask-aged brandy or some type of a alcoholic quality to it that is really working well. Yeah, I'd have to say this does quite remind me of brandied pear. But it's not the same. I'm definitely getting a pear note to this. I don't know if it's in there. Maybe a top note of some type of citrus or bergamot. All right, guys, my phone battery, or my camera battery died, so sorry about that. I feel like there's an herbal quality to it as well. It's like combining fruity and herbal. And then like with the grass in the air, I don't know. I'm getting a lot of different things, but it smells almost like the breeze, but I feel like there's a lot of like pear to this as well. Next, let's take a look at, should we do the cucumber mint? Let's do, I don't know, let's do the rosemary thyme. This one, I feel like, thyme for me often almost smells like lemon in a fragrance. So I wonder if this is gonna have kind of an herbally, lemony quality, like with like some rosemary to it. And probably a bright citrusy top note. Anyways, here we go. Oh, there's a lot of eucalyptus and thyme in this. And rosemary. This is a very true to life scent. Like being familiar with growing all those herbs in my own raised garden bed and cooking with them, growing up like Italian with my dad, well, part Italian, and yeah, he just loved to cook with all of these types of herbs. And so I'm familiar with them in that respect and in terms of growing them. Yeah, but I'm getting a lot of like eucalyptus globulus, if you're familiar with that type of eucalyptus, plus the thyme, plus the rosemary. I don't know, there's probably a bright lemony top note of some sort to this too. And then the base notes, I don't know, I'm just mainly getting those herbs. It's something just real like sheer and to just kind of balance it out. The thyme is very prominent and so is the rosemary. So if you're not familiar with those notes, they are kind of sharper herbal notes. But if you are looking for something that's kind of like a breathe easy type of a candle in the winter, for example, when people are really dealing with, I mean, we don't claim medicinal properties, right, with our candles. We can't really do that, but I feel like this would open up someone's sinuses and also just refreshing. Like it's calming, but in an invigorating and refreshing way. All right, let's take a look at the cucumber mint. I'm very, very, very excited for this oil, guys. So should we do this one now? I'm not gonna make you wait till the end. I'm gonna do it now because I just said, let's take a look at it. I have not discovered a good cucumber mint fragrance. Those notes work really well together. They also work really well in juice together. And I'm smelling something like a foot away that does not smell like cucumber mint. It smells like some type of candy. No, I don't know. Anyways. Feel like they could work really well. They have good potential. Here goes the cucumber mint. Oh! This fragrance doesn't smell at all like it did from a foot away. So I'm getting a fresh picked cucumber, like right off of the vine. Not a pickle, it's a cucumber. Like it has a more refreshing, peaceful, cool as a cucumber type of a vibe to it. And actually, they used to use cucumbers for, I think they have like different anti-inflammatory, anti-anxiety, maybe even properties, like back in the ancient times. They used to use them for that. And that's where the saying cool as a cucumber came from, because they were actually like cooling to the skin and kind of like brought down, there goes the fresh cut grass. Anyways, they kind of brought down like your blood pressure almost in a cooling, anti-inflammatory way. That's what I get from this fragrance. But yet, it also has I don't know. I think I get eucalyptus in here too. Like, this is not a peppermint. This is more of like a spearmint. Yeah, so this fragrance, it's cooling and refreshing, but yet it doesn't seem cold. It seems warm, like sun-kissed at the same time. I think this could make a really unique addition to a spa collection. Because it's avant-garde, but it doesn't stray too far away from something that's gonna be like therapeutic, right? Because when you smell it, you really do get this calming, like everything's okay in the world sensation. But then you also get this avant-garde, like, wait, are you really combining like a vine-ripened cucumber with mint at the same time? So it's like 2025 version of spa taken to the next level. Since I just picked it up off the floor, let's take a look at the fresh cut grass. Now, as weird as this may sound, if you're totally new to candle making, these are very popular fragrances. When I grew up, my mom was always crazy about the one from Yankee, and we would get it like yearly. She would go through one large candle at least every year of fresh cut grass, and we had candle cupboards. Like, she bought the store. Kid you not. And I can already smell something a foot away that is very reminiscent. So here goes the fresh cut grass. Yep, this is a... Okay, I'm so glad that this one remained classic, because there's no spin going on here in my opinion. This is a true to life fresh cut grass. There's almost like a bright citrusy top note. It doesn't come through as citrus, it just comes through as a bright, freshly mowed lawn. There's something almost a bit more peaceful with this one though too, like almost like the sunlight is beaming down on the lawn. And you almost get some ozonic notes too, like after it is freshly stormed or something, or there's almost like a dewy component to it as well. But it's a very true to character fresh cut grass, and customers just love this type of a fragrance in a candle, as weird as it sounds. Definitely in a summer collection, but almost, I would even argue, some people could do it year round, just because fresh cut grass is one of those things that people just find refreshing, and it's a universally loved fragrance, as unique and niche as it sounds. Should we do the Sunlit Sage? I don't know. I kind of want to do the topsoil. Let's take a look at the topsoil. Now, I'm curious how this one will compare with the graveyard, because the graveyard to me really smells like topsoil, and that is one of the things I love about it. It's like the most inspired dirt I've ever smelled. So I don't really understand why there's another soil fragrance, because I don't know how you could beat that. But anyways, here goes the topsoil. And yeah, this smells like topsoil. Now, this is out of the bottle coming through lighter. However, it does have a lot of like base notes to it. I do almost get something a little bit peppery with this one. Wow, okay, as it dries down, the mid and base profile are very interesting to me. I think that it does differ a lot from the graveyard. I think there's a lot of cedar in this fragrance. There's like a lot of woodier notes that are coming through in the mid and base in ways not really reminiscent of the smoking gun like the cedar in that, but almost like if you went into a cedar closet up north or something. Wow, yeah, so I didn't think that it would be necessary to have two kind of dirt fragrances, but this is very different than the graveyard in my opinion. The graveyard is more of like a midnight moonlight petrichor, like you're out in a cemetery at moonlight and there's like lightning striking wrought iron fences and you hear thunder rumbling in the distance, and it almost has like this eerie metallic quality to it at the same time of being a petrichor and having this unturned earth over weathered graves, like freshly turned potting soil type of a vibe, and then you get all this ivy, like wild untamed ivy. This to me is more of a peaceful soil, it's more of a calm, hushed soil that also has this really strong earthiness to it in a cedary, woody way. Next up, let's take a look at the Lavender Bloom. Now, I have not smelled a straight lavender from Black Tie Barn. Lavenders are very hard to come by, just straight lavenders. I hope that's what this is. I don't really know. But they're really hard to come by in candles. from suppliers. And I think part of it is it's kind of a note that is harder to come through in wax maybe. And they're oftentimes blended with things like lemon and things like vanilla, or even like a dark ambery, like a black amber. So anyways, I'm curious what bloom means. I wonder if that means the lavender's blooming, or if it's like a lavender and lilac type of a vibe. Here goes the lavender bloom. No, oh my God, you guys. This is it. This is it. This is the... If you smelled Mayfield by 1617, or if you've smelled French lavender, like lavender 4042 essential oil. 4042 is just because it contains lots of different lavenders from different parts of France. Okay, that's literally what this smells like. It smells like one of the first candles I ever made. Beeswax and lavender 4042 essential oil from France. Literally, I'm so glad this is a straight lavender, and I hope to God this really throws. I am definitely gonna be, I'll probably put a lot of these into wax. Yeah, this company's worth my time. I didn't just say that. No, in all realness, it is a hell of a lot of time to put all these into wax. When, with this company in particular, a lot of them really smell true to the out of the bottle character already. But also with other companies, for me to really get a good candle, especially if I'm using a wax that's harder to wick, that I often do like to use, like 6006, if you use like CB2 or Pro Blend or Joy Wax, same thing, or AccuBlend Soy 10, or what are some of the other easy ones? Like wicking isn't nearly as hard, but like with 6006, sometimes, not really with 464, that wax isn't too hard to wick. But like a more viscous or dense, or high melt point waxes, they're just really hard to wick, and you have to make a lot of candles to really get a good wicking. And I just feel like for me that is not practical, because I'm already making a lot of candles for my own business, making a lot of videos. I'm also studying chemistry and finishing a degree, which is going to take me another couple years because I literally do it one course at a time, because this is my full-time job, but I'm grateful for that. Anyways, got off on a whole long thing, but yeah, I can't test out all these fragrances in wax. Simply cannot do it. A lot of times with these oils from this company, I do throw as many of them into wax as I can, just because it's just so enjoyable for me. They're very inspired, and a lot of them are not like stuff that you smelled before. Anyways, this is a really special lavender. It does smell like straight lavender 4042. Why I'm so excited about that, and why I'm not giving it a hard time for that, because normally I would say, oh, it smells like essential oil, like this is not an inspired take. No, I'm actually looking for a true to life French lavender. This smells more like French lavender than French lavender itself. This is a just beautiful, beautiful lavender. But I'm wanting something that's like that, that throws in a candle, because if you just put lavender 4042 in a candle, there's no hot throw. I mean, I don't know how else to tell you, like it just doesn't work. Essential oils by themselves are not made for candles. I know a lot of people do it. It can sometimes even be dangerous if there's not the right amount of dilutants added to the more viscous ones, like vetiver, for example. They can actually separate and be really dangerous. But anyways, yeah, this is a 5 out of 5 star lavender. And if you're looking for a straight lavender, I now have a recommendation. I will verify in wax, of course, but I can almost tell you right now it's going to be good in wax, because I have not encountered really one thing from this company that hasn't been. And I haven't just tested in 6006. I had a couple people saying, oh, well, it throws well because you put it in 6006. No, I've actually tested these fragrance oils from this company in 3 waxes now. So 6006, and I've thrown some into CB2, and I've also put some into Soy 10. And I have some other waxes too that I'm going to be testing out more. I'm going to do some more with Pro Blend. I don't really care for Pro Blend, but I know a lot of people like it. That's fine. I think Wade likes it. Like, that's great. A lot of these waxes, they aren't all that different from each other. Like, for example, Pro Blend and CB2 and Soy 10, they're all different manufacturers, right? like AccuBlend for soy 10 and Cal Wax for CB2 and Pearl Blend, Joy Wax, whatever. There's oftentimes a lot of similarities. Now, Pearl Blends takes a lot less in terms of wicking than the other ones. My point is like within that category of like soy blend, where it's probably mostly soy with a minuscule amount of paraffin, those are kind of very similar to wick. And then when you get into things like 464 soy and pure soy waxes, again, air quotes, because soy wax really, that's a whole nother video. I have several videos on it, I'll link them. But it often, first of all, has to be hydrogenated, and it uses a lot of things in it that, I mean, it's hydrogenated, and the soy wax by itself is not a liquid. And it also has a bunch of additives in it. Anyways, I'm getting way off topic here, but those waxes often wick differently. And then like coconut waxes, coconut wax blends like AccuBlend Coconut 83, or like Candle Science Coconut Apricot that I actually helped to in the formulation process with testing it. And like Seda Serica, Cal Wax, Coconut Apricot. Those oftentimes all wick pretty similarly to each other, and also to the other soy waxes that are soy blends like the CB2, the Pearl Blend. Now, they definitely are not interchangeable, but there's a lot of things in common with them. Now, sometimes the hot throw can vary depending on what wax it is, but that oftentimes can be different based on each oil, how it combines with that particular wax too, in that particular candle system. So there's just not an easy answer. But that said, I have tried a lot of these oils in 3 different waxes, and I have found that to be the case across the board, that they just throw really well. Next up, let's take a look at the Planter's Box. I'm curious if this is going to be like a woodier type of a fragrance, like a box. Okay, getting a lot of eucalyptus, which surprises me, or what I perceive as eucalyptus. Yeah, that's definitely got to be the top note. Really strong eucalyptus. I am getting some woodier, earthier notes to this one as well. The eucalyptus is just whacking me over the head, though, I will say, which surprises me with this name. I don't think I expected something more woody in like a ground type of a way, not like a eucalyptus. That's really the main thing I'm getting in this out of the bottle. Maybe there's like a hint of lavender or some sage to this as well, like some camphor type notes. A lot of eucalyptus. If you're looking for a little bit of a mellowed take on like a eucalyptus essential oil, this would be really good. And I'm just surprised by the branding on this one. I like the oil. It smells, again, really spa leaning and aromatherapy. I've said that about a lot of these oils, and I'm surprised because a lot of them had really kind of weird names to me. But like the beetroot and like the bell pepper, I mean, come on. The cucumber mint, even the rosemary thyme, like some of them sound like spa scents, but some of them, like the stalk and the topsoil. But yeah, this one is definitely a inspired take on a eucalyptus. That's what I get personally from it. I don't get a box. Next up, let's take a look at, should we do the garlic onion? What the heck? Who does this in a fragrance oil? Like who's gonna buy this? This is one of those weird like gag candles or something. I have no idea. I would probably buy it just because the name is so bizarre. Oh my God, and I can smell this from a foot away, you guys, and it literally smells like an onion and garlic. As someone who cooks with them constantly and who crushes garlic and who grew up with garlic like on a multiple times per week basis, here we go. This literally smells like garlic. Literally. To a T. Garlic and onion. This makes me want to... If you combine like garlic and onion on peppers or something, and like... It's like fresh squeezed garlic though. As it dries down, the garlic dies off and I get more of the onion. I don't know what to say about this. Would I want this to be burning in my house in a candle? I don't know. Like that... This is just weird. This is really weird. I really don't know what to say. I don't think I would want to burn this. It smells spot on like a garlic and an onion, like garlic cloves. But they kind of die down. So when you first dip it and you first smell the blotter strip, you really get hit with that garlic. And then as it dries down more, you get more of the onion. This is not for me. This is one of those candles, like if you were to do like a Father's Day candle maybe, or like, I mean, my dad always used to grill. Yeah, you could sell this as like the Italian kitchen, the villa kitchen. Guys, all right, let's take a look at the tomato vine. Now, these are generally, in my experience, pretty popular. I've been surprised at how well tomato fragrances have sold for me. Like, it's not just a tomato, you get the vine too. So I'm hoping with this one that is the case. Here we go. Yeah. So this is different though than the Candle Science one. So theirs has more of like, I would say, more of like I was gonna say like the fuzz on the vine almost, but like when you break the vine, you know what I'm talking about? It has a very distinctive smell. This one, you get more of the tomato combined with that. And the top note is sort of like a lemon of some sort, or like a bright citrus. This one definitely smells more almost wearable. I wouldn't quite say it's wearable, but it also has a really sinus clearing quality to it. I wonder if there's like some type of hints of mint in this one as well. And there's something sweet that I can't quite put a finger on. I wonder if that's the tomato. It's almost like a hint of the tomato combined with the vine. But there's something a little bit sweeter than that in an authentic fruity way. And I can't tell what it is. Maybe a melon of some sort? This reminds me of, like, have you ever had those, like, really large tomatoes that are super sweet? It smells sweet in an authentic way to those tomatoes. Like the ones that are hanging down, like, on the planter, and you can almost smell them, like, in the air at the same time, and with, like, a warmth kind of to them. That's the vibe I get from this. The Candle Science one is a much more like, I would say strict tomato vine, where it's much more green. It's shockingly authentic to the vine. This is, I would say, authentic to the whole plant. Let's take a look at the hot pepper patch. Now I wonder how this is going to differ from a fragrance like the Nightcap, because the Nightcap is also a chili pepper fragrance, but this one is advertising to be a hot pepper patch. So I wonder if this is, I can already smell something like a foot away that literally smells like jalapenos. All right, anyways, here we go. Oh my God. Literally smells like you're getting whacked over the head with jalapenos and dirt. And as it dries down more, this is, again, almost a wearable fragrance. It has some things in common with the Bandit. I don't know if it's like a pepper note that I'm getting, or like a coumarin or something, or if it's like a, yeah, this gets better as it dries down. When you first do this, it's like jalapeno, bam. But that's what I would expect out of the top notes of something like this. Yeah, I mean, it'll just whack you. But then, yeah, as it dries down, I get almost like the bell pepper quality. So it has some things in common with the bell pepper, but you're getting like a spicier version of it that I don't even know if I get jalapeno, because it smells like different colored peppers as well. If you've ever been in like a fresh garden and you've smelled all the different peppers, it's almost like all of those except like the different colored hot peppers, the different varieties of peppers that are spicy. And you combine that with a little bit of the stem and a little bit of like the fresh pepper juices. Got 2 fragrances to go, and I'm very excited for the fresh fig. We're gonna save that for last. We're gonna take a look at the Sunlit Sage. Also, if you're enjoying this video, it would mean the world to me if you left it a thumbs up. I absolutely love filming these, and thumbs up helps YouTube to kind of send the video to more people. so that they can watch it and learn about some of these fragrance oils too. Here goes the Sunlit Sage. I'm expecting something that is sage-like. So sage, Salvia apiana is the Latin form, and I'm very familiar. That is white sage. Now this could be more of like a garden sage, and they do smell very different. White sage is like a, it's like a medicinal, not medicinal. It's like a spiritual medicinal, whereas garden sage is like a garden medicinal, but in like a fresh, invigorating type of a way. So I grow garden sage in my raised garden bed, and I try to grow white sage, but it does better in like California because it's like a very difficult to grow plant in this climate. I think it gets a little bit too much water. I even tried to like grow it in my house under really bright grow lights that I bought specifically for this plant that I imported. Anyways, here goes the Sunlit Sage. Let's see if you're going to be a white sage or if you're going to be a garden sage. I have no idea. Oh. This is like a... Oh my god. Okay, this reminds me of something by 𝗨𝗏𝗡𝗏, actually. This reminds me of, if you guys have ever smelled, this is a really interesting analogy. And I get the sage from this. But this is a wearable fragrance. This reminds me of... Thé Noir by 𝗨𝗏𝗡𝗏, if you guys have smelled that fragrance. Wow. This is a fragrance that you could wear, you would have a niche audience. If you have an apothecary or an herbal or a spa leaning line that would wear this. I don't know what the allowance for category 4 is for fine fragrance, but this literally smells like something that people would just ask you, like, what is that? It's so unique. You're not gonna be the next one wearing like Versace Eros or Christian Dior, all of the popular, you know, Fahrenheit, or even the more popular fragrances that he does. This is really unique. Really unique. How is this wearable? So I'm getting sage, but again, it's like, it almost has like this, I don't want to say boozy quality. It's not that. It's like, I love the dry down on this too. So when you first smell this out of the bottle, yeah, you get hit with like these really spa, like almost lavender, like lavender vanilla notes. Not vanilla in a sweet way, but like lavender vanilla and like, again, like a lavender 4042 French lavender in the sun way. Dry that down, and then it comes into contact with like sage and like more of the greenery. Yeah, so this is a really unique fragrance. There's something a little bit like really sensual and yet spa-like. This is a very inspired take on a lavender, I would say. And I'm surprised by that. I am living for that. This has to be one of my favorite things I smelled out of the bottle, I would say, today. Last but not least, the one I'm most excited for, because a lot of you have been raving about this one. Let's take a look at the Fresh Fig. Now, fig fragrances in perfumery and in hotel collections are very, very popular. Figs often smell upscale to people, and they're widely appealing. So, and I think that's one of the reasons hotels, like, for example, the Marriott uses one that's really famous. There's multiple hotel chains that do actually utilize fig in some way, and I am smelling something from like a foot away that is not what I expected. It smells much sweeter than I expected. So don't let me down, Black Tie Barn, on this, because this, and you guys don't let me down either, because a lot of you apparently really like this scent. But yeah, fig in general tends to lean more spa-like in an upscale way that is, if you just imagine walking into like an expensive hotel lobby, that to me is like the essence of fig in a fragrance. I utilize a fig scent in our Barcelona candle. It uses, I think it's Fresh Fig by Candle Science. I'll put the name up on the screen. It's Fig Tree. It's a lighter hot throw though, so that is my criticism of it, but people tend to really like that type of a vibe. Walking into a hotel, it's not headache inducing, it's not overly sweet in a fruity way, it's just refreshing, but also has a subtle sweetness to it that's kind of cozy, a little bit nostalgic, but also that is just refined. I'm really scared for this. This smelled really sweet from like a foot away. Here goes the Fresh Fig. Oh. Y'all like this? This is very sweet. Very sweet. I'm shocked. I'm gonna see when this dries down. This is more of a candied fig. I mean, figs are really sweet. Okay, this reminds me of something my mom would get at Yankee too. Yeah, this is a really gourmand fig. I mean, if you're looking for that, it's just not what I was expecting based on the name. It smells like a fig with like a dried, candied, poached fig, if they even do that. Has a lot of like really nice, rich vanilla notes to it as well that I'm picking up. Maybe a brown sugar kind of caramelized vibe. But as this dries down more, I am getting a more balanced and complex upscale profile to it that I do appreciate. It's not just that gourmand. I am getting more of a sophisticated base, I would say, to this fragrance. Maybe some different light woods and some vanilla, like a vanilla pod, vanilla bean type of a vibe. And maybe tonka, something that is sweeter but a little bit muskier, woodier in a way that actually works with this fragrance in a refined way. What does this remind me of by Yankee? This would, I think, make a very popular candle. As it dries down, I can see more what you guys are hyped about. This isn't my favorite thing that I've smelled today for sure. But I think it's one of the more unique fruity things because this collection had a lot of different vegetables and different florals and different depictions of the garden that didn't relate to fruit. As it dries down more, I am getting almost like is it galbanum or something? I can't quite pinpoint it, but it's an upscale, kind of refined, modern type of a take. Because it first strikes you as a really traditionalist gourmand fig, but then as it dries down, those top notes kind of decay. They dissipate, which is what top notes do, and you get left with this really rich mid and base. My guess is in a candle that even intensifies more. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Huge thanks to Black Tie Brown for sending me these oils. We did get through all 20. Very excited about that in a single review video. I'm trying to get these videos out to you guys a little faster, just so that way you're able to see them and not have to wait so long. Let me know if you guys prefer it at this speed or if you prefer like 10 oils per video going a little bit slower. Anyways, leave me a comment if you've tried any of these oils or which ones you're looking forward to trying. I would love to know, like, what wax do you use them in? How do you brand them? Because I know this video is coming out a little bit late, like the collection was launched maybe a month before, but I wasn't home. I was actually in Austin for actually over a month. So anyways, yeah, leave me a comment down below about your favorites and how you utilize them, and if you use any of these as perfumes, because I'm very curious. I think that a good handful of them are wearable and would have a niche audience. Anyways, I'm sending all of you peace, love, and light, and I'm wishing all of you happy candle making. I'd like to take the time to thank my patrons for their incredible support.
Trusting your instincts, realize that knowing looks different to each. When living authentic, do more exploring, deeper than knowing just what is essential for life that is thriving. Go deep, mute out the chatter, feel it burn off the fire, let go until there's peace to your core. Live a life you adore. Program, removing performance yourself all that's standing. Live free from worry. Live by just being. Power in finding your wholeness in now. Goldie, mute out the chatter. Feel it burn off the fire. Let go until there's peace to your core. Live a life you adore. Live a life you adore.
Keep being yourself. Stay authentic at all costs. And never lose your spark. Because that's what makes your brand uniquely you. I'm rooting for you. And I know you have what it takes to be successful and to have fun with this craft. Until next time, happy candle making.